Hello and welcome to Life in the Mind. I'm Murray Spear.
And I'm Joy Amy Wigman.
And today is Life in the Mind of Ma from the Neurodiversity Network.
Hi. Hi, Ma. Nice to have you with us. This is exciting for us. So Ma is our first interviewee who isn't a podcast guest, our first podcast guest who isn't me or Murray.
Yeah.
They're getting treated to our hospitality today.
That's right, we're all in the same boat.
It does help. So Ma, I guess the thing we like to open with is like, so what's your relationship with neurodivergence? So if you're neurodivergent yourself, kind of what that it kind of takes on, or if it's that you have neurodivergence around you.
So a bit of both. So I'm autistic and ADHD myself, diagnosed in adulthood, and I'm also a parent to two neurodivergent children. My partner's autistic. We're just a big neurodivergent family.
Lush.
Yeah.
The best kind.
I guess my relationship to it is like neuroaffirming as well, I would say. I don't know if that's
that's totally a film. I like that.
the
Is that like
intention behind that question. But
what's the what neuroaffirming?
so very much kind of difference, not deficit, in my view of it, I guess. Yeah.
Awesome.
I like
never heard
that.
the term before.
No, I've not heard that term before. I like
it.
that, neuroaffirming.
Yeah.
Lovely. So one of the things that we don't know about you, because we've not talked about, is kind of how old were you when you discovered your neurodivergence? Because so I only discovered that I was neurodivergent last year. Murray discovered fairly. Thank you very much. I like that is always the reaction from neurodivergent people. Neurotypical people, it's always a little bit, neurodivergent people, you always get, congratulations, join the club. And Murray, yours was later in life, wasn't it?
Yeah, about 5 years ago, the first aspect.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 41. I had to think about that. Am I 42 yet? No.
It changes every year.
Yeah,
That's
it changes
problem.
every year. I
I'm
can't keep
30.
track. So, how old were you when you sort of discovered that you were neurodivergent?
Well, it depends on how specific the question is, I guess.
Okay.
Discovery for
Autistic answer, but
yourself.
I think as a kid I felt different to other kids.
Mm-hmm.
I guess a lot of people do, but I think I struggled with various things as a kid. Definitely felt different from my peers and into my teens and into my 20s and so on. But probably about 2017, I felt sure in myself from then that I was autistic. ADHD wasn't really on my radar at that time. And then I went through various very long waiting lists. We moved areas, so I kind of had to start again.
Oh, no.
Back from the bottom of the waiting list. And then I was finally diagnosed autistic end of 2020. So I think I was 36. And ADHD sort of late 2021. Yeah.
Wow. So you got the one before the other.
Yeah. So when I went for my autism assessment, after I went for my autism assessment, actually, it was early 2021, I had a OT assessment as part of my post-diagnosis support. And it was in the conversations with that occupational therapist. She pointed out a lot of the difficulties I was having day to day were executive function difficulties that fit with a co-occurring ADHD diagnosis. And something like 40% of autistics also have ADHD. So there's a big overlap there. So she referred me directly on to the ADHD service to be assessed for that. So I joined another waiting list. All the waiting lists.
Life does seem to be a lot of waiting lists.
Yeah, and lots of trying to remember how to fill in forms, especially for ADHD stuff. Remember how to fill in this form. Remember to fill in the form.
That pathway is so not ADHD friendly.
It really isn't.
So
it's like
ironic.
14 pages.
Yeah, and then the autism one as well, because of the non-specificity of the questions or stuff. It's like, but what do you mean by that? But it's not quite, because you could read it in a slightly different way, and I don't know where to start on it. And
I'm
just
pretty
what you
sure in the
mean.
assessment, when you answer like that, they're just like, yes,
yeah, they're just like,
is autistic.
well, that's sorted. That's a really simple, immediate answer. Yeah.
Wait, what's the context? I need more information.
When you found out that you when you worked out that you were neurodivergent, how did that change your relationship with yourself?
If it did.
If it did,
If it did.
yeah, did it?
Yeah, I
How
think
did it change?
I think it did. I think it was a gradual thing because I'd sort of started thinking, I think I'm autistic myself before I got the official diagnosis. So it was a bit of a slow burn between that and then getting the official diagnosis kind of thing, I think, in terms of kind of looking back over my life, looking at the stuff I had struggled with and looking at the stuff I was still struggling with, and kind of just understanding a lot more why and what things might help with that. And I think it was a big relief. Like, it just made a lot of sense of things, and I think I'd kind of been given the wrong approach to solving some of the difficulties I was having. So some of the sensory overwhelm I was having was treated as anxiety.
Yeah,
with,
okay.
like CBT type approaches, where it was like, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, which is very much like, okay, you need to expose yourself to this situation more, because avoiding something you're anxious about is just going to make you more anxious. It's just going to perpetuate the anxiety, right? Because you're just telling yourself, you know, this is a scary thing and you should avoid it. So I was trying to push through things like sensory overwhelm and putting myself back into those situations to try and make them less overwhelming. And obviously when
that doesn't work.
Yeah, if it's
It's
not,
making it
it's
worse.
not at all
No.
the right approach. So I
Can make it
think,
worse.
yeah, exactly. So once I was able to understand it, I could know more how to support myself in those situations. And I could understand why, like, I'm not a failure at CBT. It's just not the right thing for me. Yeah.
Finding out, well, I guess it's another one of those neurodivergent things of finding out what works for you and noting the things that you may have perceived as failure before. It's like, this is something I failed at. It's like, no, it's just because that's not the right thing for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very successful at being an autistic person.
Yeah. And other
I
forms
love
of
that.
therapy and stuff might be better, but CBT just wasn't.
Yeah,
But
that
it
really
wasn't
just,
right for me. Yeah,
like,
for sure.
like you say,
There's
basis
sort of
is
a
autistic.
there's sort of a thing of working out where that reaction is coming from, isn't there? So like, so I have complex PTSD, and so working out where the reaction is coming because of the CPTSD, or if it's an autistic reaction to something, really like affects how I deal with it and how I react to it. So like you say, like with anxiety, you know, they say get yourself in there, but like if it's an autistic reaction, if it's an ADHD reaction, that's not going to help. Yeah,
because it might be your body telling you like this situation is too bright or too loud, or
It's
you
genuinely
need some other
adverse to your health.
adaptation to make it accessible.
Yeah.
Did you have a sort of ta-da moment, a sort of, hey world, I'm neurodivergent moment? Did you have a moment where you like started telling people, or did you do anything, or did you like just gradually in those relationships be like, hey, so this is the thing?
So it was more gradual for me. It's interesting because I think I have sometimes done that Facebook announcement, whatever, with other types of coming out, I guess. With this, I just ended up telling people like as it was relevant, and then I knew the people that need to know do know. And I think it's because I didn't feel like it was really understood, and I was nervous about having negative reactions or having to teach people too much at a time when I was gradually having these sometimes quite painful aha moments about my life, and I was like, I'm not in a place where I want to be educating people when I'm still processing that stuff. So I didn't post about it like on Facebook or anything like that, because I was like, I don't feel like the understanding is out there. And now I feel like it probably is, but now I feel like it's so out there.
Yeah, it's a part of you, and
so many people are talking about it. I feel like, oh, if I post about it now, I'll see like I'm like jumping on a trend. So there was no perfect moment to do it where I felt like there's enough understanding, but it's safe to, I don't know.
I can 100% relate to all of that.
I missed the sort of avocado window of ripeness for that announcement, you know.
I love that.
That's a good way of putting
The
it.
Goldilocks zone.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I sort of had to do the Facebook announcement thing because I got the job doing this, and I wanted to be able to go. I didn't want anyone thinking, why is she hosting a neurodivergent podcast? That's not very good representation. So I thought it was quite important to go, hey guys, I should probably tell you this before I start posting about this.
That's true. If I hadn't talked to enough people about it before I started doing the job that I do with the Neurodiversity Network, then I probably would have needed to explain, this is why I'm doing this kind of work.
And I'm not saying that it was the best thing to do either, because the reactions were very mixed.
Yeah, it's one of those things again where it's the individual nuance of what works for oneself might not be the same for everybody.
Yeah,
because I can very much relate to your way of going, like, oh, okay, I'm just going to tell people, and going through, oh my god, all the grief, all the kind of working out, what would have school been like if I had support and stuff, or all of these different things. But and then always kind of miss that avocado ripe side. But then I also then came across I was like, yeah, because when I start doing things, how many people are going to know? Because I'd completely forgotten how many people I've told about it. And so I now just kind of assume I've told everyone. And I very much haven't.
This is the thing, sometimes I'll just mention it in passing very casually and people will
it's like,
be surprised. Yeah.
I've known you forever, but I didn't know that. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is a strange one to try and... Yeah, it is. I think it's such a, like so many of the things we covered, that
an individual
to individual.
That's why I sort of wanted to add it as a question that we ask people, because I think it is going to be very different for everybody how they relate to it. And
it's interesting, I think, when you're diagnosed as an adult, it's a very different question, isn't it? Because there's maybe people who have known you all your life or for decades. Like, how do you approach that? You're the same person, nothing about you has actually changed, and
in fact you're more authentically yourself.
Yes.
So
I guess that unmasking that comes with a diagnosis is like a whole other aspect of that.
By the way, I'm going to be, I actually put that in the post, was like, I'm going to be acting a bit weird to you. It's not going to be weird to me like for the rest of this. I'm working out what bits of masking are actually helpful to me and what bits are a hindrance, and most of them are a hindrance, so I'm just going to take them all off for a bit and work out. We'll just put back what's useful.
I like that approach. That's a good idea.
So like until then I'm going to be super weird, so you're just going to have to deal with it, because that's who I am.
And also it'll change depending on who you're interacting with. So like some of you lucky people will get to see the full weirdness, some of you will not notice anything has changed because I'm not comfortable with you.
Nope.
I'm too comfortable. I was so comfortable because I was already
like
kind
this
of thing. It's like, the nuance of individual interaction
and the different hats you have to wear, because like you still have to do things like be a parent, go to the shops, go to work. You've still got to do the things that you were doing before, so the hat still has to go on.
Well, I kind of didn't, so because I was diagnosed in 2020.
Oh
yeah,
nice. Okay. Yeah,
it was a really different. I'd already unmasked a lot in my day-to-day life leading up to my assessment, because it had been a whole bunch of lockdown. And then in the period right after diagnosis, I wasn't necessarily having to do as much of that. Yeah. So I think it was a really interesting time to get my diagnosis. Because I was already... Yeah, I found coming out of lockdown quite difficult though, because then I was like, okay, I've completely unmasked. How do I go back into these situations now?
But you're also doing that at the same time as the entire country.
Everyone's
forgotten how to do life.
Then. So I think it was kind of a useful time for that to be happening. Yeah. I had the space to understand myself before I had to understand myself in a social context as much. I had a lot more control over who I interacted with, and it could be more gradual.
Well, I read a thing the other day. I'll have to find it and reference it, but that a lot of people came out of lockdown realizing they were neurodivergent because they'd had all those distractions taken away from them.
Yeah.
They had to spend time with themselves and suddenly go, oh, okay.
And they lost their
Especially for
routines and
ADHD,
stuff.
because I think so many ADHDers were like, I just keep myself busy all the time by doing lots of like sports clubs and things like this.
Or they've got
and
such a
then-
routine that keeps them on track.
Yeah, yeah. And then having that taken away.
Why can't I function? What? Yeah.
horrendous.
No, I mean, I remember when I had my diagnosis that it was I wanted the world to just kind of, can I have a pause? Like for maybe a year or a few months at a time of just
Yeah.
people still stay inside and just can I catch up with this? Can I just actually have some time to process that whole shift of how you consider yourself and the world and yourself within the world? And so, yeah, actually having that timing, it's quite fascinating. To kind of... Yeah, no, that's not really going anywhere.
No, it's
I
all right.
definitely wanted to have a like congrats it's autism cake
Yeah.
moment as well.
Yeah.
That I found those moments really helpful. And I'm still finding them really
People
helpful.
celebrate
But like, so the congratulations when you tell somebody that you've been like
Yeah.
you've discovered,
Yeah.
or my a very good friend of mine, she's autistic. She was the first autistic person that I was like really close friends with, and she was diagnosed the week that she also found out she was pregnant. So she had these two massive things happen to her at once. And I met up with her in a cafe, and it was brilliant because we just sat down. She did a whole like, yay, congratulations, join the club, and then did a whole like, okay, so do you have a length of time that you're all right being here? Because normally I give myself 1 hour, 30 minutes of interaction with people per day. So like, and it was
Dream.
brilliant. It was like, oh yeah, so after about an hour, I won't take in any of this. So yeah, should we just meet for an hour, and then when the hour's up, we just go? Like, yeah, cool.
I have definitely found that since my diagnosis, I have discovered all of my friends are also like autistic
Yep.
or ADHD or both. Or, yeah.
The web.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
We find each other.
We see.
So it sounds. I was going to try and segue it in a really like cool, smooth way, but I can't find a way of doing that. So does your neurodiversity affect your physicality in any way? So I know for me there are lots of like things that I didn't know were tics, but are definitely tics, and there's often like a comorbidity with dyspraxia and hypermobility and things like
Yeah,
that.
so I'm quite a bendy person, so I find that my bendiness, technical term, does interact with I think being autistic particularly, things like my coordination, I walk into door frames a lot, things like fatigue, I would say, are kind of very physical effects of my experience of being autistic in the world. And it's sometimes hard to separate out what's caused by what, I guess, with like physical side of things.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to say that I feel like I experience like joy and excitement in a very physical way, and in the way I interact with the world.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe
Like
that.
No, that's great.
bouncing with joy.
Yeah, I
is,
think
like,
it's not all
really getting
it's
into
not all
something
negative
else.
effects, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice actually to look at it that way, because when you ask people about that, it is often
Like sensory sensitivity.
yeah and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like physical joy. And like our next question is about how you experience the world, and like and
Smooth segue.
that is a smooth segue. I did better that time.
Nice.
And that's really nice because I heard the term autistic joy this week, and I think I've heard the term before and not really understood what it meant, but now I understand what it means. And like my physical reaction to it, I this is going to tell you a little bit about me. On Saturday night, the new series of Gladiators started on BBC One, and when I was a kid and older, I was a bit obsessed with Gladiators. And when it started, I suddenly had this sort of, I've had a beautiful day. I I've got this amazing thing back that is bringing up all these wonderful memories and feelings, and like I like my arms like shot up and like my toes wriggled, and like I have a tendency to like wiggle my legs when I'm really happy, and like it was like I just experienced full joy. And I don't think I've seen anybody that I know who's neurotypical who does that, and it feels like such a shame.
So your eyeshadow today is gladiator themed, the pink and blue.
Thank you. Yes, it's actually gladiator themed today. I love that you noticed that.
We see the details. Yeah, I think there can be so much shame around that though. Like I've been made fun of so much for expressing myself that way, or the comments people have made about how I'd reacted joyfully, or it seems childlike to them. You know, I think I've tried to rein it in. I've had to try and teach myself over the years to hold that back, which is a real shame, because I feel like it's part of the emotion for me is the physical expression of it. Yeah. So if I'm inhibiting my physical expression of it, I'm inhibiting the amount of joy or excitement. You know, I'm not experiencing it the same way as if I could just express it in a way that's natural for me.
And one of the one of the childlike made the decision. One of the childlike aspects of it is that it's uninhibited, I think. You know, in the way that children will just go.
Yeah, and I mean, why should that be just reserved for kids?
Exactly.
You know?
But people see that as it's childlike and therefore it's wrong. It's like, actually, we now know the power of play and the importance of play and exploration in various ways in our mental well-being and our physical well-being, and how that helps us learn and explore the world and understand things, process things. And so being childlike, being able to be childlike, that's great. It's such a strength, but it really is one of those things that is shamed.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it up, because I think it's a really nice note to end on. Like our homework for you, dear listener or dear watcher, is to go and experience some joy and let yourself experience the joy. You don't have to do it in public. You can do it in a living room like I did, but embrace it and get in touch with that again. Thank you so much for talking to us today, Mar.
Thanks for having me.
We'll have Mar on another podcast talking about a topic very soon.
Okay, folks, that's it for this episode. Follow us on Instagram at life.inthemind. Our other socials are linked in the bio. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Bye.